Hello friends, and welcome to the channel. So today I want to talk about a book that the internet's been kind of exploding about recently, and I just figured I had to pick it up and read it and tell you about it. So this is Iraq Plus 100. That's backwards, but you get the idea. Basically what this book is a collection of short stories written by 10 different Iraqi writers imagining what Iraq is going to look like 100 years after the occupation. So the book is overall kind of hit or miss. Some stories are amazing, some are a little bit less amazing. I want to talk about one story in particular that really grabbed me. So the story is called Kuzib? But essentially, the reason this story is good, and the lesson that I think that we as writers and readers can learn from it, is that it just goes for it. And this is one of the things that I love about good science fiction. For the most part, it doesn't bother to explain. It takes you to weird places, and it expects you to follow along. And this story really just went for it. I mean, there are aliens and wine made from human blood and psychedelic drugs and hermaphroditic bartenders. When an author is writing realism, they don't explain what a hand feels like. They don't explain what it means to vomit or drive a car or comb your hair. In order to write effective science fiction, the author has to live in that created world, and that means treating it as if it were reality. And I think more than anything, this is the strength of Kuzib. It never tells you what it means. It only tells you what it wants you to know, and it lets you work it out for yourself. I want to highlight in particular one passage that happens a little bit more than halfway through the story. And up till this point, we've been following two characters. They are a married couple. They're living in a new territory. We know that they've come down from somewhere up in space, but that's pretty much all we know, and they're going out for a night out on the town. It starts to get to one of them a little bit more than the other, the things that they're seeing, and then we get this. Finally, Ona reached the cleansing chamber, and once inside, she lowered her head into a basin. Her skull labia opened, and undigested food mixed with urine erupted in thick ejaculations. Walked in and steadied her by holding onto her neck with one hand and her short tail with the other. "Let it all out," he said. When her skull closed again, ran the tap to wash off any remaining traces of vomit on the top of her head. He then dried her with some paper napkins. The amount of clouded information that was just given to us about the anatomy of these protagonists, who at least I, up until this point, had been picturing as no different from you or I. By dropping this bomb more than halfway through the story, and there are a lot of these throughout, the writer is saying, I don't need to explain to you what's going on because I live in this world, and you live in this world. There is no other world but this world. Despite all the small nuggets of amazing storytelling that exist within this book, I think that's what we can most learn from Iraq Plus 100, and specifically from this story, is just go for it, because your readers will thank you. If you want to see more, go to the channel, like, subscribe, do all that stuff, and we'll see you next time.